We are live. Hello and
Hello.
welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. For me, it's good evening. I am currently in Poland. Super excited to have a very special guest with me. I will start with introducing myself. My name is Magdalena Ponurska, and I am the creator of Courage to Create. Welcome, Rodney. Welcome, Auntie. And today I have a very special guest with me that I had the pleasure of working and interviewing a couple of different times in different formats. And we connected very deeply in the area of PTSD. But
Yeah,
John, I will let you introduce yourself, and then we'll switch to the questions and the topic for today's
sounds
interview.
good. I'm John Christy, and I'm a retired San Francisco firefighter paramedic. I write about leadership in high stakes environments, first responder leadership. And I recovered from PTSD in the early 2000s. Not sure what we call that, 2000 to 2010 period. And I retired in 2018. I also worked in the domain of first responder peer support, which was a lifesaver for me as well. So I'm writing I write the newsletter Building Resilience to the Fire Within. And I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for saying yes. Welcome everyone that joined us. I know that there is a possibility of the internet being choppy. I take full responsibility for it. I'm in Poland, and I cannot guarantee that the internet connection would be
Yeah.
as great as normally it is. So we'll try doing our best
Yes.
today. And again, I'm very grateful and happy to have John
Thank you
with
for
me
asking.
and talk about resilience. So one of the things that I loved about what John was saying in his article and what he shares in his LinkedIn and Substack, he talks a lot about the firefighter's mindset. So today we'll start with that. I love the idea of applying this mindset to different areas of our lives, including writing. So, John, can you share with us? Can you talk a little bit more about what a firefighter's mindset is?
Yeah.
How do we use it in writing? How do we use it in as parents, as partners, in
Yeah.
leadership? And what tools can we borrow from you and
Sure.
apply
Take them
to
all.
our take them all and apply to our lives?
So what I'm finding, I'm when I retired in 2018, I started working as a executive coach, and I went through a program. I got certified, so there's some credibility there. Pretty much anybody can use that word coach. What I'm finding is that people in high stakes situations go into reaction. And the difference in the first responder community and firefighter sounds like we put out fires all day. And what really is
Mhm.
the bulk of the mission is emergency medicine. And I worked as a paramedic first, and throughout my firefighting career, my primary role was paramedic. And so that's advanced life support, emergency medicine. And we prepare for high stakes situations. We drill, we have protocols, we have procedures, and yet real life is going to show up a little differently every time. It's not quite, I mean, sometimes it's just exactly the way we trained, but for the most part, there's some nuances. But our mindset is prepared. So we don't go into reaction. So what I talk about is develop a proactive mindset so that when life shows up in an unexpected way, we're more likely to think and have our reasoning. Because when we think of reaction, the lion is chasing me. It's it's not like I wonder what it was like when it was a kid. Did it have a nice little environment? Did it get chased by people? It's we're running. We're only running. We don't have to think. And that's what happens when our body goes into reaction. So if we planned, oh, okay, I didn't expect a pandemic. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area in Oakland, California.
Yeah.
I My house is on the Hayward Fault.
Mhm.
I'm expecting an earthquake. That's reasonable, especially as a first responder. I have supplies, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think, well, yeah, it was in my remote part of my mind. Yes, of course we could have a pandemic. But
Mhm.
when it happened,
Yeah.
I just moved right into it because it was like, okay, I have supplies, I have this, I have that. I had masks because of the
Yeah.
smoke.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. So develop
Preparation, yeah.
mindset early. And that's what I
Mhm.
write about, and that's what I
Mhm.
talk about. And when I work with people one on one,
Mhm.
we develop a way of being that can be in a thoughtful mindset in the middle of something we don't know what to do with,
Mm.
uncertainty.
Yeah. So it's like preparing what I'm hearing is how can I prepare myself for the period of uncertainty and then step into that feeling a little bit more confident, maybe a little bit more prepared and know what are my maybe not even the first step, but the step 0.
Yeah.
Because very often we forget about the step 0, so it's just, having that mindset, I think it's really, really priceless. I'm curious, John, how would you, what would you say in terms of preparing as a writer? Um do you see the parallel? What would be your
Yes.
steps 0 or step 1, especially when it comes like, okay, now I don't know what to write about, or I'm
Yeah.
having a blog or something. Uh, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is fear can be your friend.
Mm,
So I remember one night climbing up a fire escape onto the roof of an apartment building. It was wet. Sometimes it's really foggy in San Francisco. It almost feels like
yeah.
rain. So the fire escape was a little slippery. I had
Mhm.
uh, a lot of equipment on my back also. So I'm climbing up the fire escape and I was afraid, but I had trained. And I thought to myself,
Ah,
one rung at a time, don't look down. And we got to the roof, we did our thing. So with
mhm,
writing, I welcome, oh yeah, what are they going to think about me? I'm not really a writer, and I'm not sure, they're going to think I'm stupid and all that stuff. And I
mhm,
go, okay, that's what one rung at a time.
yeah.
So I get out there and I just open up my Word doc and I just spit it all out on the thing. It doesn't have to make any sense whatsoever. And then
Uh-huh.
I just close it
Okay.
and I contemplate. Like I probably
Mhm,
have 5 or 6 articles that are in that phase, and then I just think about it. And I'm like, what is the story that will go with that? And I have so many stories, but some of them are super, super intimate for the people involved, and it just doesn't feel right to bring that in.
mhm, mhm,
So I'll think of a story that kind of fits my parameter, if you will. And then
mhm,
I just go back and I weave the story in and I think, what is the message I want to bring? And when I first started writing Magdalena, people
Mhm.
gave me feedback, and I give credit to my wife for being the one to say, "No, really, you gotta stop writing so long."
Okay.
So, I do my best to keep it
Uh-huh.
around 500 words or so,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
and here's what I think, because when I worked on an ambulance,
Uh-huh.
it would be really busy, really, really busy. The system is moving. There's no time
Yeah.
to stop, but there's
Mhm,
always little periods
mhm,
in between calls
mhm,
where we have to clean up, we have to, prepare, write our report, things like that. And I
mhm.
picture the two together right before they're ready to go in service or
Yeah.
in the middle of cleanup or something, sit down for 5 minutes and read an article.
Mhm, mhm.
But I gotta say, when I
Yeah.
first started writing, I was
Uh-huh.
writing to what felt like nobody.
Okay.
So I wrote to my grandchildren
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
in when they're my age.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So it was like, okay, I have no idea if that's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
it just got me into saying, okay, at least I have an audience.
Yeah.
And I really feel like we're in a place as a culture, and this I lived in Europe as a child, so I think internationally already.
Mhm,
We are in transition, and we could choose to be afraid, or we can choose to have the fear really hold us still, or
mhm.
we can get curious.
Getting
And that's what
curious.
I
I love that.
encourage, is
Mm,
let's get curious.
mhm,
Things aren't working. What can we do as a
mhm,
culture to come together in the way that we can to move into this uncertainty and create something that's more cohesive?
mhm, mhm. And coherent, cohesive and coherent.
Yes.
I love 3 things that you said. Fear can be your friend. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. And when you were sharing that story, for me, why it resonates so well is because I always remember the first time that I reframed fear into excitement was I was mountain biking with my son, looking into this humongous hole that my heart was pumping and I was sweat like my heart, my hands are sweating. I'm just absolutely like terrified, and he's looking at me and monitoring, like, how am I going to
Yeah,
behave, right? And I started singing, and I said, we are actually having the best time of our lives. We're going to sing and we're going to go along
yes,
this huge, huge hall and not look down, just keep looking up and keep going. And that really, really solidified for me that I
that's
actually
great.
have the power to reframe the fear into excitement. If I have to, I will sing badly,
Yeah,
but I can still do it, and I can inspire my son, and I can inspire others.
I love
So
that.
fear as a friend, I love that. The second one that I absolutely love that you said, who are you writing for, right? So as a writers, creators, I love the fact that you make the decision that you are writing for your grandchildren, and that you have a very targeted audience in your head, and that you are writing for them.
Yeah.
I actually write for the younger self. So I write
Oh, I like
letters
that.
to, yeah, I like
I'm gonna do that too.
yeah, and it's part of my healing process, or journey, but I made a decision, conscious decision, to start writing the way I would write for and to the younger self. So that was a second thing that you said that resonated deeply with me. And then the third one is, uh I think what you said, and I really want to highlight that that was genius, is in the ambulance when you have this downtime, right? And I think this is such a great, because people very often ask this question: how long should my writing be? And when I think about the answer being your writing should be as long as it allows someone to read it in the ambulance when they have the downtime time, I'm like, oh my God, that like answers all my questions. And I don't
Yeah,
ever have to, like wonder about it. Because I do, like I usually try to go for 15 to 1200 words, but because I like longer pieces.
yeah,
But now that we had this conversation, I'm like, what if it's just, like 500, 600? So someone that's in the, riding in the ambulance, they can actually have this downtime.
right.
They can reset and reframe their mind. Maybe they can be
Yeah,
empowered. Maybe they can laugh. Maybe they can take a breath before they go into the next emergency. So I
yeah.
love that advice. That was fantastic.
So, a
Uh,
couple things that I
uh,
want to make sure that gets out on the table. When we have emotions like that, if we fight them, it will just embolden them
yeah.
because fear is protecting us. So that leads me to my process is it's an assessment. Fear is an assessment. It's an assessment of a future that could be dangerous.
Mm.
And all assessments are either grounded in meaning that there's merit, like, I'm afraid because I'm climbing a ladder, there's 5 stories below me, it's slippery.
Mhm.
That's an assessment that makes some sense. Sometimes they can be ungrounded assessments, like I wake up in the morning, I'm not feeling good, and I just know it's gonna be a crummy day.
Yeah.
That's not true. But
Right.
we tend to think of our assessments as truth,
Hmm.
and the truth, the pure truth would be something like, "It's 72 degrees outside," and I could
Hmm.
in Fahrenheit, and I could say to you, "Here's the thermometer, see," and we both agree that that's accurate. So
Yeah.
that's a truth. Everything else is an assessment, and if I keep on picking at those assessments, then I'm less likely to embolden the fear, and I think, "Okay, one rung at a time. I've done this a
Hmm.
million times, mostly
Right.
in training, but hey, here we are.
Hmm.
Here
Hmm.
we are."
Yeah. Yep, that's fantastic. And yes, we do a lot of assessments and judgments every
Yeah,
day,
of
every
ourselves
minute.
mostly,
Yes,
you know?
selves
I've
and
gotten great
others, and yeah,
feedback
hmm,
from the folks that read what I'm writing,
yeah.
and a little secret about me, my mother was
Uh-huh.
an English teacher.
Oh, got it.
And
Okay.
so writing was
Uh-huh.
something that I had to do to,
Uh-huh.
gain favor.
Ah, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. Yes,
That's wonderful.
she'd give me all my stuff back with red marks and,
Oh
"What does
yeah,
this
yeah.
mean? And I don't understand. How did you come up with that?" And
Mhm.
so I have a little bit of understanding of how to create a narrative.
Mm,
And, I don't profess to be writing for the New Yorker.
yeah.
Although if they
Yeah.
call me, I'd consider it.
Okay, we'll manifest that for you.
Yeah, okay.
New York Times, New Yorker, Atlantic.
Yeah,
Awesome. Let's talk now about loneliness
yeah,
when it comes to writing, and loneliness when it comes to leadership. Um, what are some of your discoveries, and how, as a in the mindset of a firefighter, what are some of the reframes that we can leverage in leadership when it comes to loneliness? And the same question goes for writing.
yeah. Community. So when I work with leaders, I have clients that are CEOs. I have chiefs of emergency services that I work with, and they don't have peers.
Mhm.
And it can be very difficult because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, there's only one of them.
Mhm.
And so what the work that I do with them I can be part of their community, not to advise or to
Mhm.
consult, but just to be the springboard as they think a process through,
Mhm.
and 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 to feel that there's somebody. And I don't want to be touchy feely about this, but it's about love. Like, does somebody care about me? Is there somebody in my sphere, in my circle, who's got my back? And then so when we're lower, and I don't like higher or lower, but as the structure of organizations, there might be a team. There might be 4 people on a team working together, and it's like, "Oh, watch John today. He hurt his shoulder, so we're gonna, take the heavier end," that kind of thing. We tend to just do that for one another, but in
Mhm.
the higher levels of leadership, they're by themselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we can help to create a community for that. And that's another thing that I write for. That's another person that I'm writing to, is the
Mhm.
person that feels they don't have anybody, but they look forward to seeing what I have to say next time. And a
Mhm.
lot of them email with me or end up meeting with me.
Yeah.
And so also my newsletter is a bit of a calling card. It's like, here I am, world, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
this is the next chapter.
I love that, and I can see so much parallel there in there for writers because writers have a tendency to be lonely,
It is
and
lonely.
yeah,
Yeah.
until we build a community around us, then it is lonely, and then we don't have the sounding board, we don't have the companion, and
Yeah.
then we also don't have this experience of, is there someone else out there that cares about me, aka my writing?
Yeah. Yeah. And in the community that we are part of in this newsletter world,
Yeah.
there's also people that I've met I would never have met.
Mhm.
And so I'll get your newsletter and I'll read it, and I know you.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm listening to the actual person as I'm going through that. And then there's just a sense of, even though I'm sitting here in my office and I'm the only one here,
Yeah.
I'm not by myself, because I won't let that mindset start to build. So yeah, physically I'm by myself. Physically I could not show up and the world would still go on.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
if I look for where I'm not alone, I can
Mhm.
see it
Yeah, that's so again, that takes a specific mindset. So I want to highlight that. The other
developed.
develop, yeah, and prepared.
Yeah.
So prepare, develop, and then the other thing that you said when it comes to making the choice of being connected with and to other writers and creators, what I find is that I will read your article, and as I'm reading it, I have 5 or 6 other ideas that I can write about.
Yeah.
And that's another part that I absolutely love, because it's just like having a conversation. Even though I'm just reading, I'm still have a conversation with you, and then I'm like, "Oh, I never thought about this. Oh, I never thought
Yeah.
about that." And, so that's one, and then also being able to reach out and then have online or offline conversations,
Yeah.
and which we had many, and being able to compare and contrast our experiences in terms of coaching, in terms of leadership, in terms of writing, I find so incredibly refreshing
Thank you.
and
Me too.
and incredibly joyful. and being able to, and this is, this is where we will, where we would connect it to that. If you choose, you don't have to be lonely, right? Because all you have to do is just reach out to someone that you
Yeah.
resonate with, and someone that you can see that your values are actually aligned, and be curious. And we're right back to the word curiosity.
Yes. And I'll share a tiny story. I was in a course one time, and we were going to go deep with
Mhm,
with doing some process work. And the leaders said, "Here's a metaphor we'll give you, and this is one that resonates with me. When going
mhm,
whitewater rafting on a boat, the likelihood of being washed into the water is very real."
mhm,
And they said, "If somebody goes into the water and they just lay there, we're
mhm.
not going to help them. You have to participate in your rescue. You have to reach out. You have to do your very best to work
Yeah,
with me
yeah.
because I'm risking myself to help
Uh-huh,
you out." And so I also talk about that spirit of, hey, yes, it's hard. Things are
okay.
very difficult, but you
Mhm,
have to participate in your own rescue for this to
mm.
really work. Because we don't want to slip into the victim mindset of, it's all horrible and then everybody has to take care of me or I won't be okay. That's not going to build resilience. So we talk about being post-traumatic growth. So there's
Yes, yeah.
a
Mhm,
post-traumatic event, and I came out
mhm,
stronger. I wouldn't
mhm,
trade the
mhm.
strength I have to go
Yeah,
back in time and not go through that.
yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that mindset. That post traumatic growth is, at least in my life, it played such a huge role. But I do, and I love your micro story of participate in your own rescue. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's, that is such a beautiful and visually enhancing story. And yeah, absolutely, like approaching life from the perspective of I get to do X, Y, and Z, and
Yeah.
participate not only in my own life but also participate in my own rescue.
And I'm still here.
Exactly.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I made it to today, so I'm gonna
I might,
keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah, exactly. Keep going.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, what would you say? Because my coaching and coffee chats, I still haven't come up with a really good name for these
I
things. It's
like it.
still work in
I
progress.
wanna do this
But
again. I wanna hear your story on one of these because 'cause I've heard it before. It's really good.
oh, perfect. So, yep, we'll flip we'll
Yeah.
flip it. But the I always want to make sure that our listeners walk away with one actionable thing from this conversation. So, what would you say is one thing that, as a listener, I can take away from this conversation and go and apply or do immediately?
You can start to look at how often
Uh-huh.
you believe your assessments are the truth. And you can start to what I learned to term as ground my assessment, meaning
Mm,
what is the truth to my assessment? Byron Katie in The Work
mhm,
is a very good way, thework.com is a
mhm.
really good way to start that process. Is it really true?
Yep. The
And
the
who
four
would
the
I
four questions, yeah. Mhm.
yes.
Yes,
And
yes,
who
yep,
would I
yep,
be without this story that it's
yep.
so hard and nobody loves me and nobody will read me? And it's like, oh, okay, who would I be without that?
Yeah,
I would just do it. And 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 so I say ground your assessments and see how many of your assessments actually don't hold up to being picked at.
perfect. So the one takeaway is find one assessment and do reality check, and
Yeah.
then post it in the notes so we can read it.
Yes. Yeah.
How about that?
And there's not a lot of people here, so I'd say if anybody on this call,
Yeah.
find me, email me, and I will respond to you.
Yep, perfect. And I
All
will
right.
we'll have a live recording from so anyone for that is listening later on will
Yes.
please do it. We'll contact John. John, contact me. We'll respond and thank you so much, John.
Yeah. Thanks, Magdalena.
It's been such a pleasure, and I'm so grateful and so fun.
Yes. Thanks.
Kisses from
Okay.
Poland.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.